For deciding to stay tuned. You're watching Smart 24 TV, and this is Financial Markets. My name is Anthony Sabali, your host. Yesterday on the stock market, still we had Stanbic Bank Uganda come out as a top gainer, and Stanbic Bank Uganda has been one of the most traded stocks. Matter of fact, the second most traded stock. Now, I told you when we are looking at performance or analyzing performance of a certain equity on the market, we don't only look at the gain or loss in prices, we also look at activity. Looking at a company like Stanbic Bank Uganda, it has been listed since the year 2007, and that was on the 25th of January when it got listed for the very first time on the Uganda Securities Exchange. The company has affordable stock. Yesterday alone, yes, there was a slight increase in the price at 0.12 Ugandan shillings increase, and that was a 0.59% increase to close the day with a market price of 20.62 Ugandan shillings. This is on the 8th of September, yesterday. However, the company began the year with a price of 26. Now you're looking at a graph, looking at the price of the company that is currently trading at 20.62. And it began the year with a price of 26. When you get to calculate the percentage change from the beginning of the year to date, that is on the year-to-date performance calculator, the company actually has lost 20.7%. That's a very significant loss for such a big company, 20.7% of their price valuation. And this has ranked them the 12th stock on the Uganda Securities Exchange in terms of year-to-date performance. That is at 26. You can see around January we were between 25 and 27.5, and at exactly the 1st of January we had a price of 26. But the stock price went down very significantly between the month of March and the month of June to over 20 point something average. That was the price at least towards the beginning of the month of June, and after that significant decline there on the stock price of Stanbic Bank Uganda. Of course, there are several factors surrounding this decline, but one of the factors we can pick out is the fact that Bank of Uganda had actually suspended banks that were listed on the exchange from cashing out dividends. So bank companies could not give dividends, despite the fact that they were declaring their results. They were declaring very, very huge profits, especially during COVID-19 period. But for the last 2 years, banks were unable to actually issue out dividends to their shareholders. This definitely had a very a huge impact on the way investors, looked at banks and investing in the banks, and Stanbic Bank was not an exception. However, when you still look at the market activity within the last 3 months, now we are looking at the 10th of June and the 8th of September, the company has been very active in terms of trading, and within this period of 3 months, the company has traded over 23.7 million shares. Now, this is a company that has lost over 20.7% of its value from the beginning of the year. However, in terms of trading, it is ranked the second most traded within the last 3 months, meaning liquidity was quite high on the counter, and we found that also the investors were actually buying into these stocks They're expecting definitely the return to be bigger probably in the future, which has not yet actually been observed or appreciated yet. Because the company is still on the negative side in terms of year-to-date performance. Within this period of 3 months, I'm trying to rationalize the fact that it is the second most traded stock within this period of 3 months. The company was able to trade over 499 million shares over the period, and these are valued at over 10.2. They are valued at over, actually it's traded over 23.7 million shares that are valued at over 499 million shillings over the period. We are talking about a very small stock price, a stock price of 20 shillings, accruing a total turnover of over 499 million. It's a quite interesting counter because it takes a lot of shares to really come to the figure of 400 million from a stock of just 20 shillings. So there's been massive activity on the counter, and we're not talking about block activity where we are seeing the company trading a very huge volume on just a single day, and marginal volumes or very small volumes or even zero volumes on other days. So you're seeing some trading every day, every now and then, and this is a kind of a balanced kind of stock when it comes to trading. At least you have some stock every single day being traded. People are exchanging, people are buying and selling, meaning it's that could attract you to such a stock, because you know that in case I want to sell, I have enough people in need of the stock. In case I want to buy more, I still have enough people willing to sell. The total number of shares that are outstanding for the Stanbic Bank Uganda stock currently on the Uganda Securities Exchange are about 51.2 billion shares. Now that's still a good number of shares. So there's so many people out there holding these shares. So you will still have accessibility. You will still have a market to which to sell and buy from. And the current market capitalization for the company is at 1.06 trillion, ranking the company the 5th most valuable on the stock market. So it's a kind of a balanced stock, yes. Poor performance in year to date, very good activity coming in at the second most active. And then when you look at their capitalization, it's the 5th most valuable stock. The total shares outstanding are still a very good number of shares there, 51 billion shares outstanding. So Stanbic Bank is really one stock for you to look out for. Very affordable, very active. Yes, we are seeing the losses, but these might not last. And definitely someday, I'm pretty sure we will see Stanbic Bank Uganda return to the 26s, to the 30s, and so on and so forth. So you don't undermine this stock if you're looking at gaining value in the long run, and also if you're looking at liquidity. This Stanbic Bank Uganda stock will give you just that. Yesterday they traded a total volume of 30,400 shares. These are valued at 626,700 shillings. That's the gross turnover for the trading ended yesterday. However, when you still look at their monthly performance on a 1 week basis, first of all, they're still on the losing side. They have lost about 1.81%. On the 4-week period counter, you're seeing that they have still lost 1.81%, and in 3 months they have lost 6.27%. Yes, there is loss, but this is a time to buy. And all experts have been here on the show, and they have told you the best time is right now. This is the best time to buy. It's not a good time to sell, yes, I know, but it's a good time to buy some stock because this could appreciate any time sooner or later, and definitely you will be one of the people actually benefiting if you took advantage of the markets right now and bought yourself some stock. I'm talking even to the people who already have stock. Buy some more at Stanbic Bank Uganda if you can, because things could get better anytime in the near future as well. Moving away from Stanbic Bank Uganda, the top gainer for the day yesterday was Nation Media Group. Nation Media Group is a cross-listed company. It is a media house with subsidiaries here in Uganda as well. It has been listed since 2010, over 12 years of experience on the exchange, and currently is the 14th most valuable stock with a total capitalization of 110 billion Ugandan shillings, and this constitutes about 0.493% of the entire market capitalization on the Uganda Securities Exchange. Yesterday, they were able to gain over 17.44 Ugandan shillings, closing the day with a price of 582.06 Ugandan shillings after a 3.09% increase in their price there on the stock market yesterday. And yeah, you can get yourself some of this stock. However, I warn you, they are not very active on the market, so you should expect some inactivity. The people holding shares are probably not that willing to sell, so we're not seeing much activity as we are seeing on other counters here. They have over 189 million shares however, that are listed on the Uganda Securities Exchange, and therefore they have a good number of shares to actually grab if you are able to get some. When you look at the other gainer, it was East African Breweries. East African Breweries Limited has been resilient on the stock exchange here in Uganda. Still one of the very oldest stocks in Uganda, and when you look at the day of listing, it was listed on the 27th of March 2001. Definitely very long time on the exchange there, over 21 years on the stock exchange. So they are very experienced. Themselves as a company, they have grown to 100 years this year, since they began, of course, in 1922. And yes, so we are looking at a very experienced company, a very well-regulated, well-governed company that produces beverages. And in Kenya, where it is based, it has 100% shareholder capital. And then we have Kibo Breweries, where it has over 86% in Tanzania. That is Kibo Breweries in Tanzania. And then here in Uganda, the Uganda Breweries, it has over 93% stock within this Uganda Breweries company. The company trades under the ticker symbol EABL. And when you look at their market capitalization, currently it stands at 3.94 trillion Ugandan shillings, and this is 17.7% of the entire Uganda Securities Exchange equity market, and currently they are the fourth most traded stock. The fourth most valuable, not most traded, the fourth most valuable stock on the Uganda Securities Exchange. Yesterday, they gained over 47.58 Ugandan shillings, closing the day with a price of 4,980.04 Ugandan shillings after a 0.96% daily gain that was registered yesterday night. When you look at the current shares outstanding, they have over 791 million shares outstanding, and the capitalization is currently 3.94 trillion Ugandan shillings on the Uganda Stock Exchange. And yes, this company competes with British American Tobacco Uganda, which also is engaged in consumer goods and beverages as well. So That's East African Breweries Limited for you. As well, not much activity. We still need to see some more activity to be convinced that this stock is tradable. However, it has a good pricing on it, much as it's more expensive than most of the stocks, over 4,900, almost 5,000 shillings. And so you must be ready to part with that if you're to invest in East African Breweries Limited. Away from East African Breweries Limited, moving to another gainer here. We are done with the gainers. We've done MTN Uganda, we've done Stanbic East African Breweries, and Nation Media Group. Those were the top most gainers. On the losing side, we had Equity Bank Limited. Equity Bank Limited is a Kenyan financial institution offering financial services through its over 90 branch network, which includes 350 Visa branded auto teller machines and over 2,500 point of sale terminals and cashback services in all leading supermarkets, as well as internet and mobile banking. The bank commenced business on registration in 1984 and has since evolved from a building society to the largest bank in East Africa region in terms of customer base. Yes, in terms of customer base, it's the biggest bank we have here. And when you look at the listing on the Uganda Securities Exchange, it has been listed since 18th of June 2009, over 14 years of experience on the exchange, and currently it is the most valuable stock with over 5.8 trillion market capitalization on the Uganda Securities Exchange, which is well about 26% of the entire Uganda Securities Exchange. Yes, when you look at their curve, they are quite volatile. Back in July, they hit lows of 1,200, and then they rose up again to 1,400, and later on to 1,500, and then their peak stands at around 1,650, close to 1,700. That was in the month of August, and currently they are trading at 1,565.38 after having lost about 20.62 Ugandan shillings, and that was a 1.3% daily loss on the market there. And they compete with other banks like KCB Bank. You're looking at Stanbic Bank, whom we have already looked at. They're competing with, you're looking at DFCU Bank and so many other people in the financial services sector within the exchange. However, due to this daily loss, you're seeing that KCB is coming ahead of them with a cheaper stock of 1,340.17, and then also Bank of Baroda at 85 shillings is more affordable, and then Stanbic Bank is even much more affordable at 20.62%. When you look at their current price, 20.62 Ugandan shillings, and the National Insurance Corporation at 8.21 billion Ugandan shillings market capitalization, and 5.8 Ugandan shillings share price. DFCU at 547 is also another close competitor with a much lower capitalization, however, of just 409 billion Ugandan shillings. Whereas Centrum Investments at 304.51 Ugandan shillings share price, up, and a total capitalization of 203 billion Ugandan shillings is also another very, very close competitor with the company. That is it for Equity Bank Limited. Yesterday, as well, another loser was still another cross-listed bank from Kenya, and that is the Kenya Commercial Bank, or KCB. KCB is a subsidiary of KCB Group Holdings. in Kenya, Nairobi. The bank opened for business in Uganda in 2007, November, at Commercial Plaza in Kampala. KCB offers a fully fledged universal banking product banking products actually that are tailored for the Ugandan customer base, and taking advantage, of course, of the emerging regional investment opportunities to support the interregional trade, as well as some financial services within the East African region. KCB Bank has been listed, however, on the Uganda Securities Exchange since the year 2010, and that was on the 19th of October. It trades under the ticker symbol KCB, which is still its name, KCB, Kenya Commercial Bank. And currently, as per their market capitalization, they are the third most valuable stock on the Uganda Securities Exchange, with a total market capitalization of over 4 trillion Ugandan shillings. We know the most valuable is number one, Equity Bank Limited, and then the second most valuable currently we have KCB. Actually, KCB is the third most valuable, and then MTN Uganda is the second most valuable company on the Uganda Securities Exchange. They didn't have any much trading. They didn't actually have any trading at all within the last day of trading. However, KCB lost yesterday with some value of 1.05% and closed the day with 1,340.17. Since the beginning of the year, KCB, since it began with 1,414 shillings, it has lost 5.24% of their price valuation, ranking it the 8th on the Uganda Securities Exchange in terms of year-to-date performance. And when you look at this, the last day of trading they had was the 11th of August, where they traded only about 296 shares on the Uganda Stock Exchange. That winds up the total market activity. We've looked at the 4 top gainers, we've looked at the 2 bottom losers, and we've also looked at the indices. The performance of the index, remember, for the all-share index, the performance declined, and then for the local company index, it went up because of the 2 domestic equities, that is Stanbic Bank Uganda as well as MTN Uganda, who went up and definitely influenced this growth. However, looking at the summary of the trading day, but before we even look at the summary, Uganda Securities Exchange has over 18 companies that are listed, not just the top gainers and the losers that I've mentioned, and I would just like to mention a few of them so that you may look out for their stock. British American Tobacco at 15,000 Ugandan shillings. We also have Bank of Baroda, Uganda, at 85 Ugandan shillings. Centum Investments Company at 304.51 Ugandan shillings, whereas Cipla Quality Chemicals, by the way, was one of the top movers yesterday at 70 shillings. They traded over 4,100 shares on the market. DFCU Bank, that is a development finance company, Uganda, at exactly 547, whereas East African Breweries, like we've seen, at 4,980.04 Ugandan shillings. Equity Bank, 1,565, and Jubilee Holdings Limited at 7,771.4 shillings, whereas Kenya Airways at 121.49 Ugandan shillings, and KCB Group at 1,340.17. MTN Uganda currently is at 180.49 Ugandan shillings. Moving to the next board, that is National Insurance Corporation at 5.8 Ugandan shillings. That's their stock price currently. Nation Media Group at 582 shillings, whereas Vision Group or New Vision Printing Publishing Company came in at 155 Ugandan shillings, and Stanbic Bank Uganda at 20.62 Ugandan shillings, Uganda Clays at 17 shillings, and Umeme Limited at exactly 200 shillings. At the end of the day's trading session yesterday, over a total of 86,050 shares, corresponding to a market value of 10,054,750 Ugandan shillings, were transacted on the Uganda Securities Exchange. Compared with the previous day of trading, the exchange registered a 67% decline in the volume and a 52% decline in the volume, in the turnover rather. Not a very good appearance there on the summary here. And the total capitalization currently is at 22.3 trillion Ugandan shillings. There you have it for the Uganda Securities Exchange. Remember, this data is as per the trading session yesterday, closing the trading session yesterday. The markets are right now open and people are buying and selling. So what are you waiting for? Get on board and get yourself some stock. This data is courtesy of the Uganda Securities Exchange. Let's take a quick breather. We return with the Nairobi Stock Exchange. Stay with us.
Smart 24, driving business.
The taste of Uganda in a new international park.
Shashura resimu y'ikirubuto cyawe mpora mpora yitungira resimu y'ikirubuto cyawe irizuba aha sentenje okutangira aha 14 na data y'umwaka